Hello my ladies, my gents, and my lovely childs of the internet. Welcome to this video. This video is my Games of the Year video. Now, this video may be construed with Game of the Year videos, but it's not like that. It's not about ranking what I thought was the best game versus the worst game. This is just purely a video, just recapping everything I played this year. Some stuff you've seen on content, some stuff you haven't seen on content. So basically, this is going to be a whole hodgepodge of me talking about every single game that I basically played and discussing it over, I would assume it's going to be at least an hour long because, you know, that's usually how this stuff goes. It's like, each game I decided that I'm going to do at least 5 to 7 minutes at the most. But we'll see how it goes when it comes down to editing, because sometimes when I talk about stuff, I end up going on a long tangent because I really feel passionate about the games I like. But then, without further ado, let's get into the video. Jolteon, show us in. This is the only game that we're going to talk about that doesn't have any gameplay or any footage on my end, because I literally don't own the game. Rather, I bought it for somebody who I am a friend with. And this is Kirby's Forgotten Land. So me and my friend co-opted this game when they came down. She was interested in getting the game, and I was on the fence of it because I was like, I don't really want the game, but I do think that it looks like a good Kirby game. And she was like, well, I was kind of thinking about buying the game. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? As somebody who likes playing video games and also who was interested in the game but didn't really want to pay full price for it, I was a good friend and I said, let's go splitsies on this. I will do this as a late birthday gift / hey, you want this game? You can have it. Because I'm like, as somebody who likes Kirby a little bit, I'm like, I was interested in playing the game, but I wasn't fully committed because Rune Factory literally came out a few days after that. So I basically ran out of time to be able to play a full single-player game at that point, because I was constantly doing content, because that's what happens when you become a content creator. You make content. But anyways, Kirby's in the Forgotten Land. How do I describe this game? It is a good step forward for the Kirby franchise. It's a step forward I think that really should have been out probably in the last console, but you know, it was the Wii U, so I can understand why it wasn't. This isn't Kirby's first 3D adventure. Kirby's first full 3D adventure actually was Kirby Air Ride, which is a game that I played earlier this year. Now see, you're gonna be mad, but like literally if you play Kirby Air Ride, you understand. You can jump off of your board and you can walk around as Kirby and do the floaty stuff and just explore. But anyways, instead of talking about Kirby Air Ride, let's get back to the Forgotten Land. So Forgotten Land, we played a co-op, we had a pretty fun time. The only thing that I think I had a problem with the game, because I definitely think this game is a very, very solid Kirby game. Like, I definitely am like, wow, I am impressed with everything I saw with this game, and it's definitely with a Kirby game. For me, I didn't want to buy it for myself, only because I knew that it is a Kirby game. So I've played a handful of them, and I'm like, even though it had good surprises and things that I thought would be in the game, I'm like, for me, I'm like, it didn't really rock my socks off as much as I knew it did for other people. They're like, it's 3D Kirby, what do you mean it didn't? And me, I'm like, I like the game, but I literally feel like this is just playing Return to Dreamland in a sense where I'm like, this feels very familiar, even though it's in 3 dimensions. Like, I can understand the game flow and the stuff that we need to do, and I'm not really sweating a lot of stuff because I've played a video game before, and I'm not going to get beaten by a lot of things that are in this game. But it is a healthy challenge and a healthy way to bring in new audiences to Kirby. I definitely think that this game is a worthwhile buy if you have the money and you didn't get bogged down by everything else that came out this year. But it came in the torrent of the Freak Storm, which was March of this year. Which, if you know what came out in March, I don't need to say it again, but I'll say it. What came out in March? We got Kirby. We had Horizon Forbidden West. We had Rune Factory. We had another Square Enix game that I forgot, but like there was at least a couple that came out during that 1 month too. I was like, bro, you guys need to chill. Why can't you guys like pick different dates so we don't have to have this smorgasbord of everybody being on the same stuff? But regardless, I had my fun time playing with her and playing through the game. Again, I've already seen people play through it by that point, but I was like, she came down, she wanted to play it, we played it. One thing I really hope if they're going to make another 3D Kirby game, please, for the love of everything that's good, it's okay that you made me play as Waddle Dee, but please let me play as Kirby, or allow Waddle Dee to interact with some of the stuff that Kirby can, because it literally drives me insane, where I can't do like stuff like in Returns to Dreamland, where everybody can play as the Kirby, and then be able to use abilities to help out with puzzles, because it drives me insane that, you know, I'm not going to tell my female friend that she's not gaming correctly, but I will be like, yeah, if you want to pass me the controller to do the quote-unquote hard level, I'll do it. Because, you know, you have to get a certain amount of the Waddle Dees to be able to progress, so don't worry, I'll do the hard challenge things so we can get it done, because I can't do it as Waddle Dee, because, you know, Waddle Dee is treated as baby mode instead of equal mode like in past Kirby games that have multiplayer. And all I'm saying, this game would have been probably an 11 for me if you gave me that permission, but you know, hey, it's just between the eyes of the beholder, and for me, I was holding the second player controller, so yeah, Kirby's Forgotten Land, really good. I can't wait to see what they do with it in the future, and yeah, that was just another game of this year. Yes, Kirby Air Ride. Now, a lot of you are going to be like, Multi, I thought you said this was a game of this year list. Why is Kirby Air Ride for the Nintendo GameCube, a game that was released in like the 2000s, in the 2022 end year review? Multi, are you pulling our legs right now? I got a hair stuck in my mouth. That was disgusting. No, I'm not joking, actually. Yeah, first thing on the docket that I played this year that I hadn't played in like even though I said I played it, I actually only have fractured memories of it, was Kirby's Air Ride. So, okay. Now, a lot of you are going to be like, oh, this dude stinks. He's talking about a GameCube game from the 2000s. What is wrong with you? This is peak racing game, bro. Like, I had to say it 3 times just so I made sure you understood that this game, I think, is one of the most based and fun racing games I've ever seen, and it baffles me why it doesn't exist again. So let me break down Kirby Air Ride for you. It's a very simplistic racing game where you only use a button to do almost every single move. Now, a lot of you are like, oh, okay, of course. The Sonic Adventure 2 lover also would love a game where you only use like one button for half of the things. Now, before you get mad, before you get upset, Kirby Air Ride is a simplistic racing game that has a lot of high technical ceiling. Again, this game only uses 2 buttons. You use the A button, and then you may use the control stick to move, and that's basically it. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can use your right stick for camera, but most of the time you won't. So basically, how the game works, braking in this game is also mapped to inhaling. You can inhale enemies, you can throw them at people, and you can get copy abilities because it's a Kirby game. Now, what this game does very well, though, is that all these carts, all these things actually that you can ride in this game, actually have properties that make them different. Isn't that right, Mario Kart? Anyways, as I throw shade at that game that I didn't buy the DLC for because I don't like it, I should phrase myself, I did like it at one point, but then I grew out of it because I realized this is a real racing game. This is where peak racing is, and this is why I wanted to play this game this year, because I remember back when I was super young, I think I rented it back at rental game stores. Bro, I miss those things so much. It would save me so many dollars for games that I bought and that I wish I could have gotten some value out of, or at least gotten enough time into it to know if I wanted to buy and play more. But anyways, this was one of the games that I've played and rented, and I never really realized why I didn't go back and ever buy it, but probably because other people bought it. Because this game is actually fun. And again, to be fair, the reason why this game is absolutely fun and it's probably going to be on here is because I wanted to play City Trial again. Now, City Trial is peak. This one mode is 5 minutes long or 7 minutes long, depending on you change the settings. I changed it to 7 because it's more chaotic that way, where you basically can change the stats of your car or your vehicle in the Kirby game, and it has different properties. And I'm like, whoa, again, kart racers that actually have different meanings when you have different stats added and taken away from them? What the heck? And again, it's a battle. Okay, this is not the original battle royale, but it is a battle royale where basically you, and if you have 4 other friends or 3 other friends, I guess would make more sense. You would be able to play 4-player, same screen. And honestly, I had my folks over this year, and some of my younger cousins, and I helped them play. We played this, and honestly, this is the funnest. Like, you guys don't understand. This is the funnest game that I've played multiplayer with people in a while. Like, I will preach the gospel of Kirby Air Ride until I eventually become a star and a big ball of gas, just like all of the pop stars Kirby be riding. Genuinely, if you have never gotten the experience Kirby Air Ride, either by having a physical disc or having a computer version of the game, don't ask how I would tell you how you would get that. Please do this. Dolphin is a thing that's you can use, but also Parsect is a very good way to have 4-player multiplayer with this game. Please, I beg of you, please play this game. This game is great. I bought this game for the GameCube for $100. Actually, it was $160, I believe, but let's not talk about that. Okay, one of my most worthwhile investments this year was a $106 game that I remember from my childhood and wondered, is it really that good? And then I played Trial City and then did regular races and then was trying to 100% the stuff, and I was like, yeah, this game is just what I wish racing games would be again, but, we'll never get back there, but, it was a peak innovation time, and please, somebody on the Kirby team, somebody in Nintendo, please give us a way to play this game online in recent days, because seriously, this game, people would just play this game and not stop. Like, it would destroy anything that Mario Kart DLC has been trying to give us this year. So, I'm just saying that this is why Kirby Air Ride is in my game of the year. Whoever thought that getting put into the Underrealm would be such a fun time? So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, why is Hades a game that I only got to play this year? Like, seriously, I played this for the first time this year. I think after I got sick with COVID and I was depressed because I got sick with COVID, and then I was trying to recover and become a normal person again. I think it was right after I was about to play another game that's on this list, but I played Hades for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not realize how peak roguelikes can be until I played this game. Now, all of you probably know that Hades is such a wonderful game. Hades is a game that fully voice acted, has unique dialogue, has a wonderful gameplay loop that I genuinely struggled to try to stop myself from playing the game after I got to a certain point in my own free time, where I would go from at the start of the day saying I was going to play like maybe for a couple of hours to then playing for the entire day, and then I looked outside and I'm like, oh, it's nighttime. Like, it was that bad. I genuinely thank you for certain people who I am subscribed to who told me to play this game if I ever had a chance. I was gifted last year Christmas from somebody a gift card for PlayStation Plus because I know that there was a Switch version for this game, but I had a PlayStation and I'm like, okay, you know what would be cool? Actually getting some PlayStation games on here. So, you know what I did? I bought Hades, and when I turned it on and I started playing it, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Every time I've tried those roguelike, like The Binding of Isaac, for example, I tried to do Exit the Gungeon as well, and it wasn't hitting quite right. So I was like, maybe roguelikes aren't for me. Then Hades came in with its music, with its stellar gameplay, with its wonderful feedback loop, with its reward system, with its incredible voice acting and art direction. Basically, they're the reason why that when this originally came out, it was getting awards. And for anybody who was telling me that, I apologize for sleeping on this game for as long as I did. It's not like I meant to, but it's definitely now, after playing it, I'm like, oh yeah, that was peak, that's peak roguelike. Genuinely, to me, that was like the first time that I looked at a roguelike and said, yeah, I'll probably beat this game. I'll probably do as much as I can in this game until I, find something else to do. Because the thing is, I only stopped playing this game because of another game on this list that I ended up wanting to play and do for a playthrough on the channel and do some content on. So the only reason why I stopped is because I had other things to do. But I can understand that I could have probably played this game for probably, I don't know, like probably another like 20 hours at most. Maybe that at the least. I wouldn't say at most, because I probably would play more. But, I beat the game, I think, with every single weapon type at this point. I think. I don't really remember, because, again, it's been since the beginning of the year since I played the game. So, like, yeah, of course. Of course I like the game. I'm like, yeah, I definitely played it enough to be like, oh, I've learned how to master using different characters' abilities with certain weapons to help me have an easier time. I even used to crank up the difficulty thing and beat it a few times because I felt that I was feeling myself at some point. I will never be able to go insane and be like all these other players who are like, give me everything and I will die. And I'm like, nah, I'm not that insane. But I surely enjoyed my time with Hades. Honestly, I really am disappointed. Not in Hades, but in the fact that other video games that could definitely benefit from having voice acting still don't have it in here. Like, there is no excuse. These are developers who are indie devs who had a Kickstarter and then kept working on this game and keep adding and working and adding and working, and no wonder there's a huge following and people who were telling you, get this game. And I'm gonna echo that. Please, if you have a PlayStation 4, a computer, or even a Nintendo Switch, because even the Nintendo Switch, they said it doesn't run bad. I just didn't buy it on the Switch because I literally forgot that it was a game that was on the Switch. Please buy this game. This game is immaculate, and you will probably get addicted, and I don't apologize for that, because honestly, if you haven't played this game after it was toply rated in 2019, do yourself a favor and play this, because believe me, my perspective on roguelikes have now been increased twofold just because of that, how much I enjoyed it. So thank you again for all the people who developed and created Hades, and all the people who have been shoutcasting this game from the high heavens, because definitely I will be enjoying this game for the time to come. Also, by the way, who's my favorite character, if you're wondering? Artemis, obviously, but Mommy Nyx is not bad either. Anyways, I'm sorry, but let's get on to some of the other games of this year. Sometimes in life, there are mountains that we must climb. There's no way to walk around it, and if there's no way to go through it, then sometimes we have to climb the peaks and valleys of life just so we can reach the other side. Hello. This is a section about Celeste, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, Celeste is a video game that I have played. Celeste is a very good video game that is a platformer that was released a long time ago. Like, I'm saying a long time ago, so you're all probably being like, here goes Multi again, talking about a game that came out in, like, I don't know, 2015 or 16. Like, what is wrong with you, bro? Why are you keep bringing up games that are that's almost a decade away? And I'm like, listen, okay? First of all, I did a playthrough of Celeste on my channel that I got up to a certain point, and then I just stopped because, again, games came out. Me also realizing I don't have as much patience as I used to, and being like, I like this game. Though I do think that there are some things where I'm like, why? But I guess I can talk to you about here. Celeste is a very good platformer, and if you're trying to beat the game to just see the ending of the game, you will have a very fun time. There's a lot of mechanics and things that if you're going through the regular story of the game, you will have a lot of fun with, because it's just a lovely 2D pixel art, sideways scrolling with a lot of good movement options that have momentum in it, but also allowing you to use and experiment your tools in a way that allows you to feel your own progression as a player, just as Celeste, the character that we play as in this game, gets better at scaling these mountains and these perilous things that you wouldn't believe that she could do, but her potential was always within her, though she was restricting herself. And I'm not going to go into too much story spoilers. I know this game is like from ever ago, but also this is just kind of like Hades, where I'm like, these people really worked hard on this game, and I can tell that there was love and passion put behind it. I guess that was the first time playing a platformer game in like a while for me when I think about it, because I didn't think I had a super hard time, but I definitely could tell that my commentary during the whole playthrough was me kind of just being quiet and just going with the motions for a little bit, because I'm just like, oh yeah, when I play a platformer, unless it's a certain type of game, I can't really focus and commentate and also be able to play well all at the same time. Now, my only gripe with this game, and again, this is what you guys can take this however you want. So, if you look at my playlist for the game, you can notice that I've done 7 episodes plus episode The End. Is it called The End? Or is it called something else? I forget what it was called, but you know, it had the specific name to the title. And like I said, the only problem I have with Celeste at this point, because I would have 100% completed this game, but I really don't like that they have to make me collect collectibles. The hearts, because those are the only mandatory collectible to actually play every stage and see everything that this game has to offer. And after you collect the 8 secret hearts that don't have to do with any of the missions, and then when you get to that certain level that I was talking about in episode Farewell, and then you get gated off by saying, hey, I hope you did all of the extra stages that all will take you about 2 to 3 hours to beat. And I was like, I understand this is content and you need to give me more content by gating it off, but I'm like, I really wish I had more time to play this game, but like, quite seriously, bro, I don't got time for this game. I had other things that came out this year. I wanted to play them, so please, I'm so sorry, but like, nah, man, I'm sorry. I couldn't go the extra mile. I did beat the first half of it, which I have proof of on my channel. I just never went back because I really was like, I've already experienced most of the game that I wanted to experience. And I was getting a little bit sour at the end because I was like, oh, certain things in this game don't feel like I should be missing or fumbling the controls to be able to get what I need to get done properly. But hey, maybe it's because I'm not technically savvy. I mean, I got through the halfway point, but maybe I'm not just good enough at the game to get all the way through. Would I still recommend the game? Oh, heck yeah. But probably all of y'all have played it at this point. But I'm just telling you right now, as somebody who, for the first time, I actually got to sit down and actually play for the full game, because I never actually got to do it when I originally bought it back that many years ago, when it was ported to Switch. Yeah, it's a good game, so please play it. It's I know it came out way sooner than I'm recording it now, but as one of the many games of this year, I definitely recommend it, and if you still haven't played it, get on it. There are some mountains high enough, but Nothing can stop us in this game. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. What a game those games were. I only have Pokemon Scarlet, but yeah, Pokemon Scarlet was a game that came out this year that after a decade of me not playing any Pokemon games, I decided that, well, thanks to a person called You Alright, and basically me being like, you know what? It has been a hot minute since I played any Pokemon game. Even though Pokemon Arceus came out earlier this year, I didn't buy it because I was like, this looks like a game that could be for a certain type of person, but it's not going to be for me. Catching and completing a Pokédex doesn't sound that super interesting to me. I'd rather have it have a baseline gameplay loop that I can enjoy, so I skipped out on Arceus. But, moving on down to later this year, literally less than a month or so ago, yeah, I played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and it was really fun. Like, I genuinely felt like I had played 3rd Gen again. Because 3rd Gen was probably the last time I could say I had a really, really lot of fun with Pokemon. I mean, I did play 6th Gen, because like I said, it had been 3 generations since I last played. But no, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are 2 very good games, which have major flaws being glitches and no voice acting, but hey, these are games that are really, really, really good. If you can look past, you know, that stuff and not be burdened by it, then yeah, you can have fun with this game. Because I think the thing is that the nature of how this game works and how it allows you to just be, or choose how you want to engage all of your story, or how you want to engage all of your, like, going through the main campaign until you reach the end game to get to credits, is done very well. I am actually genuinely surprised after Sword and Shield, because that game people were trying to convince me to buy, but I looked at it and I'm like, I don't think that looks very fun. And then lo and behold, everybody who's played the previous then decided that, you know, yeah, that wasn't super great, but I'm glad that they actually made a better version of that game, and actually a more fully realized version of that game with this game. So I guess I should talk about a little bit more about the game. So basically, the game has, you know, Pokemon all around you, so you engage in battles. There's no more random battles. Every battle is basically, you see a Pokemon, you throw a ball at it, you engage with it. Just like how they did with Arceus, which I'm basically sure at this point was a way to gauge the interest in that sort of style that they made as a spin-off game, that they were like, okay, we're testing the waters for how we want to get the open world to feel and how to feel more natural. Though I will say, Arceus has a better presentation because of not having random pop-in, not having random glitches. The world seems more, you know, catered to making it look nice and good while being able to do some other stuff that they took out from this game. But I also understand why, because, you know, they probably split their teams in 2 and then tried to do the same idea in the same year, because, again, Pokemon isn't a stranger to making multiple games in a year. So, overall, how did I enjoy Pokemon Scarlet? I guess for me, I definitely say I enjoyed it quite a bit. Genuinely speaking, I streamed 2 or 3 of me. I had 2 or 3 streams of me playing this game, but then I just stopped streaming it altogether because I ended up just wanting to play it on my own. Now, it went into a loop for me where I was kind of just like, yo, this game is actually kind of fire. You could do some things where you could go to areas you couldn't by using the backwards long jump like it's Mario. You could find whatever Pokemon you want and then basically force them into a ball, even if they're 5 or 10 times your level. You know, it's stuff like that that makes a game like this fun. And then also, I really liked how they actually made NPCs that you can care about. They made characters that you care about, trainers that you fight that you care about, because they actually have lore, story, and some reason to care about them, or find them very attractive to actually be like, oh yeah, I want to learn more and do more of this stuff that has to do with the characters. But yeah, no, mostly other than that, I think that this game is definitely a step in the right direction. Could this game use a lot of polishing? Oh, heck yeah. Like, that's not even a contest. Will Game Freak actually do that? Who knows? The future can only tell. Because, I mean, definitely the thing that I will say is the only thing that got me really feeling some sort of way is that, man, they really had some really nice cinematic cutscenes. But boy, can you please just pay for some voice acting if you're going to make cinematic cutscenes like that. Because a lot of this game would have been boosted if you just allowed yourselves to, like, get voice acting for every character that's not your main character. But, you know, that's a personal problem and a personal issue, I guess. But, yeah. So Pokemon Scarlet was a really fun Pokemon game. I definitely recommend buying it. And, yeah, that was another game of this year. Once there was a legend, a mystical beast known as Wii Sports for the Nintendo Wii. A game so legendary, it would be the most popular sold game for that console because it was a boxing game to show the power, the awesome raw talent of the Nintendo Wii. And then they decided to do it for the Switch. So, hey guys, for this game of the year thing that I'm talking about, we're talking about Switch Sports. Now, okay, I'll just say this right now, okay? Because I just need to get it off my chest. I bought this game purely because of a YouTuber that I was watching playing it, who was saying, oh yeah, this is gonna die if you guys don't buy it and play it. I mean, you guys are all saying that it's a dead game and that nobody's going to play it, but you're going to make your own demise by doing that. Then I eventually bought the game. And then they stopped playing it. And I was like, well, I sure did fall for the bait, but I did buy it, so let me play it at least. So, yeah. I don't know how I'm going to fill up 5 minutes with this game, honestly. Because Switch Sports is such an enigma because after Wii Sports, you know, and Wii Sports Resort, the two pinnacle of these, like, motion control games. Like, I don't want to hear anything, okay? Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort are probably the two greatest Nintendo products that were ever created for their console that had a gimmick, and genuinely will still stand the test of time if you can find a way to get those nowadays. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a working Wii anymore, or any of those games that work. So, for me, it's kind of a moot point, because sometimes I think back to those games, I'm like, yeah, that really was a good bit of time where we were at the peak of gaming, with, like, experimenting and not being too bogged down by too many gimmicks with, you know, the Nintendo Wii. But, like, I'll be honest, I think Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort are really good. Now, you may be wondering, okay, what does this have to do with Wii's, you know, Switch Sports Resort? It's not even called that, it's just called Switch Sports. I guess, okay, so let's talk about this game a little bit, because I was going to do originally a video on this, but I guess this is the best place to put it, because I didn't really have that much to say, other than I think Switch Sports is a better direction than they had for the Wii U, because it feels a lot better to play the games, but the big but here is that there have been some things where I was like, okay, I really wish loading in this game didn't take so long. But hey, peer-to-peer connection, I understand. Ranking system, I wish there was a separate mode from ranking and just playing regularly, because honestly, I'm just like, rank doesn't really matter in games mostly anymore. It's just a formality of just saying, hey, you have something to work towards, so get good, I guess. The sports that were in the game. So basically at lunch, we had soccer, we had tennis, we had bowling, we had volleyball, we had badminton, my personal favorite, but it was very long matches, and the sword fighting, which I forget, Shambara, Yeah, thank you. My inner voice just told me it. So yeah, those were the 6 games that came with the game. Only 2. Was it 2? Or was it 3? So for some ludicrous reason, if you're playing with 2 players, you can only play games like tennis, volleyball, and I don't even think you can play soccer 2 players. And now, this is insane because I'm like, why can't you play bowling 2 players online if you're sharing a screen? I don't know. You can play bowling with multiple people if you have 4 controllers and you're in your same house, but you can't do it online, which I think is insane. Or maybe I'm misremembering, because again, the last time I played it was back in April before I then was getting ready to start up some of my latest works when coming to doing one of the other games on this list, being Rune Factory 5. But like, no, seriously though, genuinely speaking, I think that the game was okay overall, because I haven't touched it ever since I got my binge out in April. Sometimes I tell people when I go over to other people's places when I bring my Switch, I'm like, I got Wii Sports, and they're like, do you want to play Clubhouse Tech games instead? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's like, it's a game that is good and it has potential, but let's be honest here. When Nintendo had to tell us that golf was coming, and then golf was coming until like literally basically at the end of this year, like I don't even know if it's still out yet, because they had to push it back twice, and I'm like, it's golf, my dude, it's golf. But yeah, I guess as one of my games for this year, I did play it. It was definitely a fun thing to do at short bursts, but even people who I would bring it to excursions to really didn't really enjoy it as much as something like I brought WarioWare or Clubhouse Games. So, hey, man, I mean, if you enjoy playing it for the sensation of playing an online game with other people, then go for it. I think it probably will be on sale if you go buy it physically or online now. So if you're definitely at least interested in it, it's still the only way to play a sports game that's online that isn't too, bad with its connection. So yeah, I say give it a look, because that was one of the games of this year. Well, I don't know about the real world outside of the internet ending, but in this non-fictional game, I guess we really are having a World's End Club. So yeah, so the World's End Club, this is a game that I played back in September, not streamed, because the time I decided that I wanted to play this game was when I was having a tropical storm where I lived. If you know what happened with Florida a couple of months ago, with a storm coming and basically doing a lot of destruction. Where I live is far on the East Coast, and it tried to travel up here to where I live. It knocked out power for probably like a day, I think. So, when I woke up and I realized, oh wait, I can't do anything that I was gonna do, like play in Splatfest or play some Splatoon or whatever I was gonna do on that given day. I looked out at the sky as the winds and trees were blowing as the storm was happening, and said, I bought a game that I really need to talk about and play, because, again, the creators of Spike Chunsoft are going to be creating a game that's supposed to be coming out next year, which hopefully runs really well. But I decided to go back and play one of the games that I wanted to play last year. Or was it the year before that? I don't remember, but it was a game. No, it was last year. It was a game that I was like, I want to play this because nobody's really talking about this. And now here I am talking about this. I want to talk about spoilers, but I don't want to, because it's the end of the year thing. But if you're not going to play the game, then you're probably not going to play the game. But I will just say that the only things I'll spoil are actually gameplay mechanics, and that's about it. So yeah, World's End Club is a game where you play as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I believe 12 characters? I think 12 characters, yeah. As you go ahead and traverse a world that seems like it just came to an end. If you play the demo of the game, it actually only shows you one snack size of what the game actually is. This game is actually a puzzle platformer rather than a just mystery game. It is a mystery game, but it's more about puzzle platforming rather than actually doing what most of people know of Spike Chunsoft games, which is Danganronpa, 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 bum 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 bum. Anyways, now that I made that reference. I played it because I was, again, Storm happened, and then I said I was going to play this at some point because I bought it at that point, but I just didn't have the right time to play it. And then when it turns out, when the power goes out and you don't have anything better to do, you're like, okay, time to finally play this game that I was going to play at some point but never did. This game was really good. And I'm not surprised that it was good. I was just surprised that the concept of what they actually did with gameplay, which they didn't show, was actually good. So after you beat the first area of the game, which if you play the demo, which again, it's free, go ahead and play the demo if you're interested in anything I'm going to say. After you play the demo, you actually get to go and play a platformer game that has interesting physics, because it's not, you know, the best sort of platformer, but it's a platformer to make narrative work in this game and have you actually engage with this game with gameplay, because you're not sitting around doing nothing this entire game or having a visual novel. Rather, you're exploring with these characters in this world that's been broken down and basically wrought with cool monsters and designs of things that have now seemingly taken over what remains of the world, which is basically next to nothing. So yeah, it's a really fun game. It's really cool. I definitely think that this is what the style they're going to be going for Code Rain. The other thing that I wanted to go out of my way to basically play next year or stream, I don't know when it's coming out, but I definitely want to play that game because I played this, and I definitely think, oh, now that I played this, I think I understand more what they're going to do with Code Rain, which I think is going to be cool, awesome, and sweet. Again, as somebody who has indulged in all of the Danganronpa games for the most part, or at least know enough about them to be now able to go jump into this next thing that they're going to work on that's not going to be Danganronpa, just very much inspired and still made by the same team. Needless to say, I'm very excited, because even the story writing in this game honestly made me kind of get choked up in tears sometimes, because I won't lie, bro, this game, I'm just saying this because of one of the games of this year. I'm just saying a few of the games of this year. I really wish that even games that have, you know, around the same budget as this game probably did, invested in voice acting, because bro, this voice acting in this game was so good. I think every line of text in this game was voice acted, by the way. So please play this game if you're interested, because literally it's voice acted. Oh yeah, my only recommendation if you're going to play this game too, when you go into settings for the auto sync, like the auto voice acting, make sure it's lip synced, because there's a setting to do lip sync. If you go all the way back in the settings, instead of making it fast, you want to put it to lip sync, which is behind slow, which is really weird. But just want to tell you guys, because yeah, I didn't know that my first time playing, and then when I figured it out, I was like, that's stupid, that's not the default, but you know. Anyways, if you are interested in anything in this game, again, I don't want to talk about spoilers. I was going to do an original video where I talked about spoilers, but this game really is one of those games that if you experience on your own, I think you'll get more out of, rather than somebody explain everything to you. But that being said, if you are interested in me making a separate video, hey, you guys know where the comment section is. Leave it down there, and I will talk about every single spoiler in this game, because I'm willing to talk about this game that seemingly nobody else talked about when it came out, other than do this exact same thing where I'm doing, where we talk about it for like 5 minutes without spoiling. So yeah, again, this is a wonderful game, and even if the world's end, I enjoy this club, and it was another one of my games of this year. So, Rune Factory. So yeah, Rune Factory was a game I played this year. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it was that long ago. Rune Factory 5 is a game that I played this year that I felt like that I actually just technically just finished. Rune Factory 5 was a game that I was hoping to play the year before, but because of, you know, the things with, you know, maybe some frame rate issues, maybe some polishing issues that the game needed to go before getting sent over to the Americas. It came out last year for Japan, but then we had to wait until this year to finally sink our teeth into what I consider one of the best Rune Factories to be put in to date. If we're regarding technical issues, though, okay, let's not mince around the words. This game had a bad frame rate cap. The game kind of struggled at some points. But I think overall, I think this is the most fun I had with a Rune Factory game up to this point. Mostly just because of the fact that I had a lot of fun playing around with the systems. I had a lot of fun because after playing Rune Factory 4 so many times, playing this fifth one with a new breath of fresh air, and even though it was rough in some cases, also in some cases this game was very busted. Like in the good and bad way of, you could do specific things to skip certain triggers and cutscenes and skip dungeons. You could do certain actions to be able to get airtime to do really weird and wacky stuff to cut out of bounds. You could even accidentally fall out of bounds and find yourself in a predicament where you're just in the skybox. So yeah, I can say Rune Factory 5 was a good game. Also regarding Rune Factory 5, I will say, this is the big thing, please, for the next Rune Factory, please get either full voice acting or just voice act the cutscenes and that's it. Because I will be 100% honest with you. It drove me insane playing this game and doing a playthrough of this game this year, just to have situations where characters would have to read some of the lines, but then not read any of the others, and it would drive me up the wall. I would be like, please just either do it all for this cutscene or don't do it at all, because it literally shook me, because I'm like, I don't know if I can speak or if the characters are going to speak, because they just randomly decide to be like, okay, this is how the character sounds, and now they won't voice act for the rest of the scenes. Now again, I may be spoiled, because literally almost every single JRPG this year, minus one, had voice acting this year. So I was kind of like tight about it, because I was like, you know, I wasn't expecting the world out of Rune Factory 5, because again, it's Marvel is coming back with XC to making another game, even though it didn't look like they were going to make another game for a while. I'm glad that they still came back, made this game. It functioned and worked, and you could play it and beat it. I beat it within 1 year of the whole game. So I can't believe I did that, because I literally beat it before the end of the first year loop, and that meant I beat the secret dungeon you get, and after that I was like, well, I sure did play Rune Factory 5. Again, I think it's a good game. If you can get it on your PC, definitely do that, because you can do funky stuff to get mods, or also to just unlock the frame rate, because on the Switch it is kind of doo-doo butter, just a little bit. Me personally, I didn't have a problem with the frame rate stuff as much, mostly because even though this is an action RPG, which that is a farming game, I kind of just blew everything up with magic. And it was funny when I got to use my power of Magic Might and just blow up everything in, like, the final boss. I still cannot believe I've beaten every boss in this game just by blowing them up with fire and darkness. They couldn't do anything. They legitimately could not do anything. The only boss I think that gave me a trouble was the fight before the final boss, and that's kind of insane when you think about it. But yeah, Rune Factory 5 was a game that I played, that I really enjoyed, that I really hope that when they make Rune Factory 6, they can polish up just a little bit of the game, and hopefully they'll get a bigger budget, because I think this one sold relatively well. I should have probably double-checked that before making this video, but I was just wanting to talk about the game. So yeah, also, hopefully for the next game, can you give me more adult characters to marry, because I genuinely don't know what they were thinking with some of the marriage candidates. Like, okay, I'm not super mad at all of them, but I'm just like, okay, cool, we got Lumilla, we had Lucas, and I think Murakumo. Sorry, but did I just reference Shin Megami Tensei 5 in this? But you know, we had 3 characters that I'm like, oh, they're definitely like older than 20. And then all the rest of them I'm like, why are they're just kids? And I'm like, and I mean that in a allegedly way. But also, if you're listening to this part of this video, I was and still am planning on going back probably at some point. You probably have already seen a stream by this point that I went back, and I'm going to do live streams finishing up the last of the romance events, because I still wanted to do that, and see the Christmas event, and also finally decide to be a girlfriend / boyfriend one of the candidates. I mean, I already made it very clear who I was going to pick from the beginning of the game, from episode 2. And it didn't change my mind the whole way through because I love her. But if you guys are looking forward to that, whether it came out already or not, I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, that was one of the games of this year. Because I'm here, reaching out for these new frontiers. I wonder what game I'm talking about. So, a Sonic game came out after 5 years of not having a Sonic game. And for me, I think it's been a highlight to play a Sonic game that I actually physically enjoy and not have to hold too many asterisks, okay? So, I played Sonic Frontiers on the weakest console, okay? I played it on the Switch. And yet, I still had a fun time with the Sonic game. Can you believe that? Can you believe that somebody can say that they had a fun with the Sonic game? Now I'm sounding a bit facetious, okay? But I swear to you, I actually really enjoyed the game. I've streamed it. Just like all of my other playlists, it's down probably in the description where I have my 2020 plus playlists on my channel. So please go and watch it. Each one basically takes up a section of each of the islands. So if you want to watch me beat the game or play for the game and my thoughts of the game, it's all going to be in those streams. Because obviously, I like the game. I think it's a brave new frontier. See what I did there? A brave new frontier for Sonic. And genuinely speaking, I think I like it just because it has things that I didn't consider, but I actually really like that they did. For one, being able to modify your Sonic to how you would like to play your Sonic as makes a lot of sense because we're getting into the age where I feel like accessibility and being able to have more player expression by allowing them to have that control is very good. The open zone gameplay, it could definitely be polished and refined and be an even better game. And one thing I guess that was a major issue for a lot of people is how much automation there was. Again, one day we'll go back to how Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 may have done it, where there wasn't so much automation because they don't trust you to be able to make, you know, a simple action by yourself. And you know, I don't think there were times where there's automation, but most of it was in the forbidden 2D sections that everybody hates. I tolerated them. I mean, I don't care that much. The only problem with them is that, again, camera and also perspective gets locked when you get sucked into one of these things. So if you wanted to go one place and then get trapped in there, that's a bit of a problem. And also pop-in being a thing, because on the Switch, even though it looked graphically bad, that's for me, I was like, yeah, I chose the Switch version. But pop-in was in every part of the game. And unfortunately, that was a hampering for a lot of people with saying, man, it really sucks that I can't run around in this world without running into something because it just popped in at the last second. Which I'm like, it's an understandable qualm. It's an understandable qualm, and I understand. And a lot of people were disappointed with the game because they really were hoping that a miracle would happen and it would be a game that everybody would like and there would be absolutely nothing wrong with it and that there would be no complications and then Sega would be completely 100% flawless and actually not do something boneheaded to make it not work to become a peak game. For me, personally, again, even though Sega has their issues with not making crunch culture and also, you know, not allowing yourself to be able to do stuff new, for some reason, I genuinely think, though, that this is still a solid Sonic game overall. The combat system in this game, again, it's not anything to write home about, but it makes you feel like you're playing as Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I can imagine, okay, because maybe I'm just that dude who still watches sprite animations at my age, but you know, the moves that we do in this game make me feel like I'm actually playing one of those sprite animations that I see online, and I'm like, bro, I really wish that we got another, like, actual fighting, like, Sonic fighting game other than Sonic the Fighters. You know, I wouldn't mind to be able to replay Sonic Battle again, but also I would like that to have more depth. But, you know, that's just me personally. The boss fights are immaculate. The music is immaculate. The cyberspace levels, I hope, because they're going to be doing, apparently, I realized this after I beat the game. They're going to be doing free updates over the course of like the rest of the game's life cycle, which is probably going to be like a year, where they're basically going to fine tune and fix some things that they probably didn't get to do before they shipped. Probably because, you know, Sega probably told them not to change certain things because, you know, sometimes Sega and Sega Sonic team sometimes clash with what, you know, what we know that we want and versus what the company wants, because, you know, one of the big things that people always talk about with this game is that it said it was supposed to be 5 islands, but it's really 3.5, really, because most of it is, most of the first 3 levels, yeah, they feel full and complete. The second to last one is really just an area for cutscenes and cinematics to wrap up the story. And then the last island was another part of the first island. But even at the end of the day, it was linear, so you could be able to beat the game and not have to be gate-weighted. Because I think, again, one of the ways that you can enjoy this game is just being able to play it at your own pace. Which, again, I very much like, because, you know, again, this game could have taken either anywhere between 20 hours or like less than that if you really wanted to rush it. And you know what? Honestly, overall, Sonic controls in a way that I feel like is fine and great going forward. Again, it's not the adventure era, and I understand that I don't think we'll ever see it again. And that's not because I'm a pessimist, it's because they literally just probably won't go back to it. To go back to it would be literally trying to use old ways of using it, the Sonic engine, and the way that they want to progress the games now. In a way that, you know, even though we complain about nostalgia and like all the stuff and references and stuff for Sonic games, genuinely speaking, that's still what we want, because technically deep down we still yearn for when Sonic was quote-unquote peak, which again was Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. But nonetheless, if you are interested in this game and it goes on sale, please buy Sonic Frontiers, because I think it is, I thought it was worth the price tag that I bought it twice. A physical and digital version. So that's just me personally, but that was one of the many games of this year, and a sequel that I never thought I was going to see or get to play, and had a happy time doing it. But yeah, on to the next topic. In a world where JRPGs exist that are always above 50 to 100 hours, somehow Square Enix found to strike a perfect balance of an aesthetically pleasing yet short and bite-sized RPG length. This is the Voice of Cards series. Now, genuinely speaking, I adore this series that they have for Square Enix. Genuinely, I think that the Voice of Cards series is one of the better JRPG series that I have ever attempted to play, and just been able to enjoy. So I know I've already made a once again talking about video, talking about this game and what it does and what it tries to perform to do. So to basically sum up a lot of that stuff into this little video blurb about one of the games that I played this year, this is actually talking about the trilogy of games and how over the course of playing all 3 of these games, because they have released one the year prior that I didn't get to play until the beginning of this year, which made me excited, because after I beat the first one that I didn't get to play last year, I then got to play the second one this year and did a full playthrough on that. That was really good, barring some things, but we'll talk about that later. And then I am now playing through the third one, and I'm like, wow, that's even better than the second one. I'm like, genuinely speaking, you pumped out 3 different games within like a span of an entire year. This stuff is fire. So to basically break down how this game works, this is a game where it's an RPG, where it's basically like a tabletop game where you basically walk around with your little peg going to squares, revealing different places on the land, the map. All of it's narrated by whatever the game's narrator is. The first 2 were males, and then the third one is a female. The female one is actually kind of goated. I'm not have a bias or anything, but I really do like that, you know, this game has full voice acting, just because the person who's narrating is the voice actor, because it's supposed to be basically like a role-playing game where you're basically like, oh, they're the DM and you're just the player, and then they will give you scenarios that you go through going through these cards and events. Now, the actual gameplay, again, it's an RPG, but it's more like if you've played Magic or any sort of card game where it has resource, where it's like, okay, to use your moves, you will use these many, these little mini crystals that allows you, or gems, that will allow you to then use your attacks. Now, the only resource you actually have to worry about in this game, because mana doesn't exist, so MP and like SP or whatever you want to call it, isn't a factor. You can use your big moves as long as you save enough points for them, and then the only thing you have to worry about is your HP, because the enemies will find a way to whittle down your HP, and then you have to be reactive to what you have to do to be able to keep yourself alive. Well, like most RPGs. But I think the simple fact that this is a simplistic RPG, mixed with the fact that, again, it doesn't have to do much to impress me, to be honest, other than just having a nice and gentle presentation. Honestly, if you just play this by yourself in your room at whatever time of day, plug in your headphones, and either if you're playing it on the handheld mode or you're playing it for your console through wireless headphones, you will enjoy this game immensely. This game, you can get lost in playing it for hours on end. I will tell you right now, the first game, when I wasn't doing the recording for the second game, I basically played each of the chapters. So basically it would be like 2 or 3 hour chunks and be like, whoa, I guess I just made it to the next chapter, but I kind of want to keep playing because this game is kind of fun. And also, I think the evolution of how they kept improving and changing like battles in this game is immaculate. So the first game basically was just like a typical RPG where you have your characters that have their own classes and a unique set of skills, which was cool. The second game had a new skills feature where each character had their own unique set of skills, but they had these things called unity skills, which, because you had 4 characters on the battlefield at all times, they could use really cool things that would unify 2 characters and do a really big AoE attack or really big attack against the enemy, and it would look all cool and flashy. And then lastly, the third game, which I really like a lot because of what it did for the battle system, instead of having character-specific skills, other than their personal traits, which are passive skills, all characters get these enemy cards, which basically are like, oh, you can equip these to any character and make any of your characters a certain type of build. So you basically have the most amount of freedom in this game that I've ever seen, which I'm like, this is exactly what I was looking for in this game, because I hate the fact that during my first 2 playthroughs of the game, there was definitely characters that I was like, oh, I'll play as, and then certain characters that I'm like, you're good, but you really have to have a certain gameplay style to want to play these when you have already busted characters. But needless to say, if you are interested in anything that you're seeing on the screen for Voice of Cards or anything I've said, please pick up any of the games. I would recommend starting with 3 or 1. 2 was a little bit difficult because of them nerfing status elements, but I think if you play number 1 or number 3, you're gonna have a really fun time. And atmospherically, this game is perfect. Like, I genuinely can't find a game that would be this atmospherically perfect for a type of game that you can play for like 20 hours and then beat it. But anyways, that has been one of my games of the year, and yeah, I'll see you guys for the next one. You're in my way. It's what I would say if I was able to play as Cyril in this game, so it's like a 0 out of 10. No, I'm joking. Okay, I liked Fire Emblem Warrior 3 Hopes, okay? I'm joking. It was a joke. I'm sorry if it came off as offensive. But yeah, I played through a playthrough of Fire Emblem 3 Hopes. Now, I have to specify this because I did not play multiple rounds of this game as of right now, because it is December. Xenoblade came out literally a week after the fact, and, well, not week after the fact of the game, but week after the fact of me beating one route, and then I was like, well, I don't think I have time to go back to do any of the other ones. Not like I was going to record them anyways, I was just going to play them for personal playthrough. But yeah, Fire Emblem 3 Hopes. I'm just calling it that because the Warriors part is like, yes, we can tell it's a Warriors game, but hey, anyway, Fire Emblem 3 Hopes. is a game where you play as the Fire Emblem Three Houses cast in a Musou game. Now, on paper, some people would say that's very bad. Those people would also say that they like Musou games, but also say that this is bad. I enjoyed this game. Yeah, it may not have some of the things or features that you would have liked from the Fire Emblem Warriors that came before it, but I think for what it gave you, and story and lore for Three Houses that added on to the story, and added on to the characterization, and added more things that you would love if you loved Three Houses, could enjoy. Now, I will say this, unlike Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem Three Hopes does not have as much voice acting. It still has voice acting, don't get me wrong, but there are some instances where the game does not do voice acting all the time. It does a good chunk of it, but again, for me, I wasn't being super needy or rude about it, like how I felt with Rune Factory, because if anything, I can understand them not wanting to do as many voice things all the time in this one, personally. But it was like maybe like 10% less than the original game, so even then, it's not even that big of a complaint. Other than that, what can I talk about the game? So I could, if you guys were thinking about picking it up either, I don't know, next year when next Black Friday happens, or if you were just interested and you never got around to playing it, this Fire Emblem Warriors game is basically taking the idea of the class system from Fire Emblem Three Houses, making it so each of the warrior styles are just based around those classes, and basically that's about it. This game I don't think ever got DLC, which, believe me, that drives me insane because there should have been some classes in this game that don't exist. The Magical Flyer is one that comes to mind every time I think about this game. But I digress, it's fine. I guess it doesn't matter because one of the really broken things in this game, which when people said that you shouldn't play this on hard, I looked at them and raised an eyebrow and said, this game really wasn't that hard as long as you made weaponry that fits the character build you're trying to build for a character. Because weapons in this game can alter all your stats, so if you get a weapon that says, oh, it switches magic and physical, okay, right now when you use this weapon, your magic and physical will now be reversed on this weapon. So you're using a magic item, now all of your physical characters can use this magic item because it reverses magic and physical. It's dope. Any of your magic users, give them this magic / physical reverse sword. So now they can just slash people like it with any other physical character. It's kind of nutty. I genuinely enjoyed it. I played through the same campaign twice because I was gonna originally do an extra video of me going back and getting all that stuff. The only reason I didn't because I did technically do it all off screen, and then I realized by the time I get this out, I will probably already want to be starting I'll already be starting Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and it won't be, my playthrough of that wasn't finished until almost the mid of September or October because I was balancing both of them. But yeah, what do I think about the gameplay loop in this game? I thought it was fire. For me personally, yeah, you can be bored if it's a Musou game and you already don't like the genre, so I'm not going to convince people to say, hop on this because it's going to definitely change the genre. No. If I had a recommendation, it would definitely be more like Persona 5 Strikers. And even still, then, it's still a Musou game at heart. Just the difference is that it has more of an RPG flavoring other than this one. Because, I mean, again, like I said, it keeps a lot of things from Fire Emblem Three Houses. So if you like Fire Emblem Three Houses and just wanted a different way to digest the game and still play as characters you like, and then find new ways to break open a game, like, this is your game for you. Definitely. I hope to be able to play this game at some point again, because like I said, I have been interested in wanting to go back and do the other two routes. It's just that I haven't, because, again, all these games this year that came out were so good, and I really enjoyed my time with this. Again, I grinded extra hard because I just wanted to be able to carry over all my weapons, my money, my save data, all the stuff I worked on for all the other routes, because now basically I can just zoom through them without having to do that grind again, because I will say the only thing that is a grind in this game is, I would say the most important thing is grind out all of your weapons first, because weapons can give you a tangible boost immediately. Then grind out your classes so you can get more abilities. That basically, this game is like damage output is the thing that matters, so do that. And then lastly, raise your facilities, so then you can basically boost the first two things until you're complete, and then you can use your money on whatever else you want. If you want to make one weapon really dumb for one character, or if you just want to go ahead and just fan it out evenly, that's all you have. But yeah, that was Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, a game that did give me hope for the next Fire Emblem game, which will be Fire Emblem Engage. And yeah, that was another game of this year. Woomy. Okay, that was a very bad attempt at sounding like an Octoling. Please don't be mad at me and shoot ink bombs and other things at me. But hey, this one is about Splatoon 3, that one shooter game that you definitely didn't play 2 versions of already, and just said, wow, I'm gonna jump onto this one. Anyways, I'm not being rude. I'm not that person who's gonna say this is just the same game, but again, Splatoon 3 makes a very cautious effort to make everything in this game very streamlined. I have 100%, well, I didn't 100%, but I beat the campaign, which I think is an upgrade from the Splatoon campaign regularly, because at least you had choices to not do certain levels if you knew what you were doing with the area map, which I think was very good. The character and the world itself, it was pretty cool. Again, it was taking a lot of ideas that I used for the Splatoon 2 DLC and using that as the basis of how this story was going to work. Using our little Salmonid buddy as a way to open and get more access to different levels by having him eat the things that turn people into the Mammalins. That was a cool thing. I think it took us a collective of 7 or 8 hours to beat the story mode. Again, I did skip like the last world because I literally was like, okay, if I can do that, I'm just gonna do it. And then I'll beat the last level and then we're gonna call it. Because I'm like, to be honest, I won't lie, I don't play Splatoon 2 just for the story mode. In fact, we're gonna talk about the stuff that I really enjoyed that they improved in this game, the online. Now, before we start this, I will just preface this by saying, they improved the online as in the gameplay aspects. They did not improve the online in the way of internet connection stuff. I don't know if it's just because of the way that the game decides to encode in this game. Because, again, this game has a lobby waiting system where you actually wait in a lobby on your own console, and then it has to sync up to all the other consoles by using that, which could lead to disconnections because of that. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not the one who created the game, but I will say, other than random disconnections while trying to get into games, or games taking way too long to get into because, again, connection issues, the gameplay feels snappier. The actual maps feel more balanced. Mahi Mahi Resort was standing because, you know, it's Mahi Mahi Resort. The weapons that they're adding, and as of this video, they just announced that they're going to drop the new ones for December the 1st. But again, I can't really talk about them yet, except that they look cool and that I'm definitely going to use the next ink brush that they give me. But like, I think the longevity of this game is going to be going even higher because, first of all, they didn't restrict Salmon Run. Like, I don't know what they were thinking in the second game other than, oh, it's a cool mode that you can play from time to time. But guess what? It's only opened half of the day and then it's closed the rest of the day. So if you have a work schedule, well, tough luck, buddy. Tough luck. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna throw a fit. But now it's just a permanent job that you can do, which is great because if people want to play PvE and not worry about ranking up in player v player, then yeah, it's a wonderful thing that they added to just have. The mini game, the Splatdown card deck building game is pretty fun. I really can't wait until they add an online feature so I can actually have a reason to continue playing it other than trying to get the one emote that is in level 30 of playing that game. So you have to play upwards to at least 200 rounds, which I have not done. But I'm going to get that emo one day. The photo mode has been expanded, though I wish there were still more options for places that you could do it and not just in, you know, the square, because I feel like that's still limiting. But hey, that's just me personally. Anything else to talk about the game? Well, the ranking system I think is a lot better in this game than it was in the last game, but that also comes with a double-edged sword of you can rank up but never rank down, which means you can be in debt in points and then never be able to rank down. They are saying that, and no, they've already confirmed, thanks to the ending of, or the DLC of this game, that X-Rank is going to be coming back on December the 1st, so probably by the time this video comes up, it's already back. So basically now there's going to be, the only way you're going to, you know, degrade now is when the season changes over, and then you have to start probably, I would assume, from the top, or a reduced amount of levels that you made up until that point. So yeah, Splatoon 3 is probably going to have more of a lifelong shelf life than Splatoon 2, to be honest. The test fire went off without, well, mostly a hitch, but you know, people really enjoyed this game, and people who skipped 2 are definitely enjoying 3 and aren't dealing with a lot of the missteps that they made in 2, and actually just made a more refined experience for everybody to enjoy. Obviously, I've been streaming a lot of Splatoon 3 on the channel, so like, but at this point, you've probably seen I've been already streaming the cool DLC that comes out, and I play with viewers, and I try to play offline with viewers when I don't work. But yeah, Splatoon 3 is definitely an upgrade, definitely worth buying. Do not buy 2 at this point, because everybody hopped off 2 immediately as soon as they could, because again, a lot of the way that the meta was in 2 is completely dog water. So now with the new balancing of maps and also how certain gimmicks and weapons work, it's a lot more of a fun time. So anyways, that is one of the games of the year that will continue to be a game that I play for years on out. And let's go to the next topic. Have you ever played a game that was so amazing and so wonderful, and that even before it released, you felt this sort of connection with the game that could make you cry and feel so emotional and emotionally attached to everything, every single aspect of it, that would make you know that you would find this as a new favorite game? Because that was the same case for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on the Nintendo Switch. So, no surprise to anyone, I love Xenoblade Chronicles 3 with a passion, with a hot burning desire and passion. When I saw the last trailer before the game came out in July this year, all I needed to tell you is that I was a grown man crying and enjoying the fact that I could cry knowing that I was able to live to see and play this game. Because genuinely speaking, the Monolith Soft moniker, and I'm saying this because I need you to understand, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a game you should play. You should play all of Monolith Soft's games, because honestly, I think these are the most worthwhile JRPGs you could probably buy. And genuinely, I will always support Monolith Soft with whatever adventure that they go up with next, because their quality control, their actual passion in what they want to present in their stories in their game are phenomenal. I'm just letting you know this is the reason why this is the last on the list. I just want to gush about this game because I love it. I genuinely think that all of the gameplay in this game was absolutely stellar. They upgraded the battle system, so yeah, everybody said that it's a little bit easier, but it's because you have so many good options in this game. Like, genuinely speaking, this game is really fun. I played it on hard mode from beginning to end, never changing it off of it once, because I was like, you know what? This game gives you enough tools once you get past a certain point to be able to just floss on everything. Whatever you think is hard and difficult, you can usually get past, and it doesn't really matter. The story and the characters, bro, how do you make not only a main cast that is so good that I genuinely am shocked that I don't dislike any of them, and then also making supporting characters that are so good, I literally think there was like 24 like plus main characters that you end up liking near the end of the game? Like, are you insane? Like, I don't actually understand how Monolith Soft can keep getting away with it. I thought 2 was already pretty good because I liked most of the cast of 2. I really didn't hate any of the cast, but certain cast members I liked more than others. And that the only thing I hated about 2 is that because of how many unique blades there were, it also made it feel like they could have had more of a spotlight if it was something like how it was in 3. And not only that, but also certain characters got shafted really, really hard. Like, Rock from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Listen, I will love Rock every single time in the class that Rock gets, but you know, it's really unfortunate that they never showed that character after one cutscene in chapter, what was it, 4, and then you never see him again ever. And even though Rex uses his weapons, I'm like, that's actually insane. But you know what? In 3, there are so many characters that I can say I like. I can point to Tyon. Hey, finally, a JRPG that has a black character in it. Just like how in Fire Emblem 3 Houses we had Cyril, and he was my favorite. There's characters like Shania, where everybody seems to hate or like her, and then they have arguments and conversations about her. But genuinely speaking, your characters are doing something good if the people can't agree whether they like or hate her, and will continue to talk about her for the rest of eternity. Like, that's insane. And then, of course, I got, like, Alexandria, and then I have almost every other person in the cast that I'm just like, yeah, I appreciate all of you so much. Honestly, I'm like, and also, the voice acting and battle music in this game is superb. Now, I will say that the only thing that this game was lacking was some really good overworld themes, but I also can forgive it because most of the time you're going to be in battle and listening to the battle theme majority of the time. The only one that's a standout for me in the whole game of playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3 that I could say that stood out to me is the Orion Mines, but that's also because I'm just like symbolizing a area that used to be a flourishing area, now made into a decrepit mines, knowing that it's a just big open and vast space of history and things that will never be back again. That was good. And also it's so mellow and sad, but also uplifting in a way with how the music is played in that area. Like I said, I could gush and talk about spoilers and everything, but like I said, I have a full playthrough on my channel. I have a whole ass playthrough of my channel of basically everything. Sorry, Jennifer, that my video stuff got corrupted when I did your part, but you know, I have almost every single aspect of this game recorded, and you can see all my feelings and emotions for this game on there, because genuinely speaking, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, if this was just a regular Game of the Year list, this is easily top, and this is why I saved it for last. This is the reason why, even though, you know, I said I was going to save this for 5 to 6 to 7 minutes, I might even go over, because I genuinely applaud everybody at Monolith Soft for creating such a masterpiece of a game. When it got nominated for Game of the Year, even though this is recorded after the Game of the Year and it kind of didn't get any awards, so I'm a little bit bummed about that. I'm still happy it got nominated, and I got to hear, you know, one of the songs that I really cherish from that game, Weight of Life, played on that big stage with everybody viewing it, and I'm like, you saw that guy who was playing the flute during that? Oh man, he was going in. He's like, I get to finally do a solo, bro. I'm about to go in as hard as I can. I'm like, yes, please. But no, man, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, bro. Monolith Soft, I think the thing is that I'm trying to parse while I'm even trying to finish my thoughts here. Monolith Soft and all of these Xenoblade games could not have existed if it wasn't for people for Project Rainfall all those years ago. And I don't like thinking about that because honestly, I don't want to think of a world where I didn't have Xenoblade Chronicles. Because genuinely, I think this world would be, me and this world itself would be a lot different without it. And I'm so glad that I was able to live and experience all of this. There's so many people that I wish that were still around and still here that could have experienced this game too. Which makes me sad when I think about it too, because again, it had been 5 years since everything with the second game happened, and then so much stuff happened in between then. But I can wholeheartedly say that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3 are both of my top games in the series, easily. And then 1 and X are going to be next in line. But I can't really choose between 1 or 2 because, again, 2 has a story that literally saved my life, and then 3 had another one that literally made me more confident going forward into the future, that I know what I want to do with my life. So both of them are games that changed me significantly and why I love them so much. And again, if there is one game that on this list that I'm recommending, because technically I said this wasn't in an order, but then I made it in an order, so you can sue me if you want. But if I had to say anything, and there's any game on this list that I would recommend you go and play, regardless of the price tag, play any of the Xenoblade games. Play Xenoblade Chronicles 3. You get more out of it if you play the first 2 games. I know that. But also, this is a game worth playing because of not only just the gameplay, but what the story is trying to tell. And beyond that, it's just the care and passion that Monolith Soft puts into their work. And thank you everybody for listening, because this was my Game of the Year and the final journey of the games of this year. And at last, we have finally made it to the end of the video, my lovely childs of the internet. Oh man, what a video this was, right? We talked about basically, I think, 10 plus games. I think. No, it might have just been flat 10. I don't really remember, because at this point, me recording all of these have been over the span of like a month or so, so I'm just like, we're done now, but it feels weird to be at the end, you know? But I would like to thank any of y'all who are still listening to this video, even though it's probably close to an hour long, because, you know, I tried to make them all 5 to 7 minutes, and yet I'm like, oh yeah, that's still gonna be like an hour video or so. But, you know, as you know your boy, he still likes making content and videos for y'all, so I'm glad that you guys are here, and I'm glad that you guys were able to enjoy this video with me. But genuinely, I'm glad I made this video to like wrap up this year, because I love talking about video games, and I love hanging out with you guys. Streaming was fun this year, playing all these games were fun this year, and I wish I got to do more, honestly. Because honestly, you know, like Senna from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I just want to do more, you know? I just don't want to be just sitting around or feeling like I could have accomplished more if I just allowed myself to. I actually just want to go out there and actually just do it, so I can say that, yeah, I can accomplish more. And with that being also said, thank you for such amazing growth this year. Because honestly, we were at 250 subscribers since, like, I would like to say 2020, 2021. And only this year did I literally almost went up twofold by almost reaching 400 subscribers. Like, you guys are insane. And I really appreciate all of you who have been stopping by at the channel, watching my content for as long as you have. Because, I mean, I've been making content for 11 years. Almost on 12, and I genuinely love the support and all the stuff that you guys are saying and praising me for and saying that I'm underrated. That does mean a lot to me, genuinely, because for me, I'm just like, I am just a dude at the end of the day. Never really needed to be popular or very well known to be a person who still wants to do stuff that he cares about, because honestly for me, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I wouldn't mind this being a full-time job that I do and I love and I come to enjoy. But even if I don't ever reach that height, I just want to know that I want to treasure every single thing that coming up to this and leaving this part of my life, if I ever end up doing that, I can be proud and look back that I said, yeah, I did some amazing things. Like, even nowadays, I do go back to my old content and just look at it and smile, because I'm like, man, I wonder if my old me ever wondered if we would ever make it this far. Because even me, now, I still can't believe that we've made it as far as we have. And to be honest, my goal was to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this year. But, you know, it didn't happen, but I'm not bummed out about it, because I'm actually had more success just having more people, you know, actively view me as somebody who streams on the platform, who also just makes interesting content on the platform. And actually, I've been just communicating and actually talking to more people on the platform in general, and talking to people who are small creators like me and helping them get going, because generally speaking, even though I don't get to spend as much time on YouTube doing what I would like to do, because I now work a job that basically takes 12 hours of my day, and then, you know, probably an entire day if I'm really exhausted, I can say right now, moving forward, I'm going to definitely focus on making more content like this, because it allows me to have more creative expression. It allows me to have more time to digest and really ponder about games that I really enjoyed. And it lets me hear back from everybody else about what they thought about games, because I genuinely don't think I could ever be a reviewer who super critically critiques games. I'm more of a person who's like, let's talk about the good stuff along with the bad, but let's not say that the bad is unredeemable, but hopefully is something that, you know, a company can strive to do better, you know, later. But, you know, that also being said, I would like to say thank you all for listening this far, for liking the content, for subscribing. I know I'm still going to be doing streams in the near future, because even if I don't make any video content, probably for at least another couple of weeks or a month, I hope you guys stick around, because I have many plans for many videos that are coming down the pipeline. I had a lot of ideas that I wanted to do this year, but because of how many good games that I wanted to play this year, I literally never got a chance to sit down and actually do. So all of those backlogged ideas will actually be pushed forward, and I will be probably editing those and working on those for the next little bit. I'm hoping to incorporate my actual face to the channel a little bit more as well. I know I only have, you know, a phone, but a phone is a better start than anything. Same with, I only still have a laptop, and I've been using only a laptop to be doing this content since I began. But even if it's only a laptop, we're still making waves out here, and I don't plan on stopping as long as I still have the courage and the momentum and the support from you guys to continue going. Now, I was originally going to make an update for the end of this year also, saying that I am taking a step back because I was not going to do playthrough content anymore. But again, it doesn't mean that we're gonna say goodbye forever. I know for most of January, I'm probably gonna be gone other than maybe a video or two that I had ideas percolating around that I wanted to do. So you will be able to see those, and then I will also be streaming when I can. But I really do appreciate all you lovely chows on the internet. Honestly, you're the reason why I'm able to stream and able to enjoy myself, and you're the reason why I'm here. So, thank you so much for everything. I hope you guys, when you see this, have a lovely New Year's, and I hope you had a lovely Christmas, Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa. And yeah, I have been Multi126789, other known as Multi-Man. And to all the lovely chows of the internet, I wish you the very best in the next years to come. Again, keep on gaming, keep on being your true selves, and I hope to see you guys next time. So ciao ciao, until then.